This is going to be a slightly different vlog to our usual. Not too much difference, but it'll have a different flavour. So, as you can see, we are still by the beach. One of our favourite places to be. We are not in Wales. And we are not abroad. We're actually in my hometown. We've got a family barbecue today and I've been sent out for paper plates. So whilst here, I thought I'd take you on a whistle-stop tour of some of my favourite places. Some of the places, to be quite honest, aren't here anymore. They've closed down and been rechanged into something else. But I can give you a bit of history on the area. We're in Lancashire. And we have quite a few celebrities that either live here or were born here. So anyone that's, I'm awful with actual names, so anyone that's into Emmerdale, we've got the famous Charity Dingle, she's from here. We have got Jim Bowen, he's local. Mark Owen used to live locally, not in the town but locally to the town, from Take That. But the most probably currently well known would be the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. So I thought we would start the vlog in a typical Tyson Fury style phrase. Welcome to Morecambe, you dossers. So I thought I'd start at the furthest end of the promenade. You can see the Lake District, Range Over Sands, Barrow in Furness in the background. And of course, how could I forget Eric Morecambe. So this end tends to be the quieter side. There's a lot of pools. That looks like a dog paw, but I very much doubt it is. There's a lot of pools, sculptures. There's a lot of pools where you can collect winkles, cockles, mussels. This is what we used to do when we were kids. Come back with buckets and buckets of them, and Mum would boil them up and pickle them. Going back years ago, I mean, it must be 20 years ago, there was a big disaster with a load of Chinese fishermen. I'm going to never get this out. The Chinese cockle pickers, because Morecambe is in a bay, and the tide, it comes in really quite quickly, and it surrounds them, and unfortunately they drowned. So it's a bit. I mean, it looks nice and calm now. And there's one day of the year you can arrange to have a tour and you can actually walk the bay. Now I've always wanted to do that, but it happens, I think it's July, August. And I never got round to doing it. We're always busy that time of year. But as you can see, I mean, Morecambe is really, again, it's one of them towns that does not have the best of reputations. But same as what we find everywhere we go with this channel, we pick up the positives, because there is a lot of positives here. A lot of positives. I mean, it is a beautiful place. It is a twitcher's paradise, because the bay brings in lots of types of birds that they come here throughout the year and whatnot that don't necessarily go anywhere else. So you get a lot of that. The golf course apparently is amazing. My son's played that with his granddad when he stayed down before now, so it's a really good golf course. There are loads of chip shops where you can get your chippy tea, sit on the front, you know, your traditional ice creams, things like that. So it's a traditional seaside town. They are actually, I'll show you further on where that is, they've got the Eden project coming to Morecambe. It's going to be focused more on the marine side of things, But again, it's a big thing coming to the town, because unfortunately, same with a lot of seaside towns, when the package holiday, you know, going abroad and whatnot came in, it left big holes in the local economy, you know, where people just weren't coming and spending, and it really did affect the towns. I mean, most seaside towns have felt it, but you know, we used to have a lot here for people, and the less people came, the less was spent on the place. They are putting it back slowly, trying to restore places, so we are seeing a big difference. I mean, I can see a big difference now. So in the foreground, I don't even know what that is, whether it be apartments. I don't know whether you can see it on the screen. That wasn't there last time I came down the front. It's possibly being built, but it definitely wasn't there. So I'll have to find out what that is. It does look like apartments. Also, anyone who is a big fan of The Bay, it's an ITV drama, and actually, I've watched it. I've watched it for nostalgia reasons as well, because I'd like to pinpoint, oh, we've been there, blah blah blah. But it's really popular. It's popular in Australia as well. We've got family over there, and they actually watch it. But it's all filmed here. Well, between here and Heysham, the next neighbouring village. Now, we're not going to go in today. I'll save that for another day. There is one of my favourite places. When my son comes up as well, I mean, he's 20 now, but he still likes to go. This used to be one of the favourite places he would go to with his nana and granddad. It's been going for absolutely years, and I would like to take you on a massive tour around it. So we're going to do that probably next time I come down to my mum and dad's. It's Happy Mount Park. It's like it's free to walk around. They've got ice cream vendors. They have brass bands playing. They've got cafes inside. They've got trampolines. They've got like an outdoor swimming activity. Mini golf, all that, all in one area, but the place is actually quite big. People take picnics there. It's just generally a really nice place to be. And going back in the 90s, so this is showing my age now. If you remember the Knowles at Edmund's house party and Mr. Blobby, Happy Mount Park had a crinkly bottom, because in all the papers we actually had our own Mr. Blobbyland in there. Didn't last for many years, because me and the house party went, but it was definitely there, and it put a mark on it. They've still got the vintage train that goes round the park, round an area of the park, that still goes on there. So it's brilliant for bringing kids and families and whatnot. And back when my mum was young, doggos, there used to be animals there. So there's like a Chinese garden, and there used to be well, my mum said bears and tigers. Now that sounds really bizarre to me now, but bearing in mind, we'll get to there as well, Morecambe used to have a dolphinarium, and we used to have Rocky the dolphin, who has, you know, years ago again been set free, but it doesn't sound too odd when you think of things like that. I mentioned before is known as Bear. It's what we, when we're living here, it's what we call the posh end of Morecambe. We used to live in the West End, which sounds posh, but for every seaside town, for whatever reason, the West End of Morecambe is not the posh area. It's what used to be full of hotels and whatnot. And now, I mean, we didn't live in a flat, but a lot of the houses and whatnot have been turned into flats. But yeah, this is the posh area, and I'm thinking at some point, because I mean, we do visit here quite often, obviously because I come and see my mum and dad, but we might even do some filming locations, because in Carnforth, which again is another village further down, they had the clock on the train station from, you know, I'm going to say Great Expectations, but I actually don't think the film was that. It's from a really old film, but a really well-known film that I'll have to put something in the description if I remember, because you know what my head's like. There's that, there's Jim Bowen's house, if everyone likes a bit of bully. The pub he used to own, that's local. Eric Morecambe's house is local. I mean, we're going to nip into Weathers, which is named after him. It's not exactly his home of homage, but I know for a fact that Tyson Fury is strong there. Because Tyson Fury, to be fair, is probably one of the most grounded celebrities you'll come across. So we're not too far out of the area, and they have like a little boating pool, crabbing pond. It actually gets really popular, and again it's another free item. Just imagine the views you'd get staying there in that hotel. Because one thing I've got to say about Morecambe is the sunsets. You get the most amazing sunsets. They are literally mind-blowing. They're so pretty. The colours and the landscape is absolutely gorgeous. I've actually been on the bay. I've seen that inside. I'd actually never been inside. Reason this means something to myself personally, my mum used to work here as a cleaner. These embankments were our playground. My dad would pick my mum up from work, bring us down, and this is where we would literally just spend our evening rolling down hills and go on the park, although that park has been upgraded somewhat. Now, got your bingo. In this area, don't quote me, but I think where the sailing club office is, or it's in this general area, it's definitely in this area, was our sea aquarium, our dolphinarium, where we had Rocky the dolphin. I don't know how well that is known to any of you, but yeah, Rocky the dolphin, who I'm sure he did get set free, but I'm sure he made his way to Florida and was doing well, so he's got a nice story to go for him. But it was a big thing with Morecambe. Oh, now what's this? See what's on these signs. We've got Vintage by the Sea next week, which unfortunately I'm going to miss. See what are on these signs. Advertising the market. Oh, they've got like a 90s reunion. Alarm Fest or Alarma Fest. I'm not entirely sure. Alarma Fest? Maybe they have alarmers. I don't know. Anyway, going back years ago, I've got to remember all this stuff. It's from a long, long time ago. We used to have our own illuminations, same as Blackpool. I say the same. They weren't the same. They were cast-offs from Blackpool, but we still had them. What else did we have? We had fountains higher up, and they did like the Light and Water Festival, where they'd change them and put them up, colours of them and put them to music. But I mean, so far everything we've passed, you can do this for free. In the, you know, like when it's really busy, every bit of grass has people sat on it having picnics and whatnot. As you can see, the higher up we get, the more busy we get. Kids enjoying the beach while they can. Some amusement arcades. We're still not in the centre of Morecambe yet. What I'd call the centre of Morecambe. Have the clock tower, which is actually on time. But I'm hoping you get the actual retro feeling of the place, because that's what I enjoy. Just seen an ice cream van that did all sorts of ice creams, but actually did a vegan ice cream, but it was cash only, so I need to remember that and get some cash out on the way back and can help myself to an ice cream back to the vehicle. So these are really good. So you look at this, and this is in the horizon. These are all the mountain range names, hills names and whatnot that you can see. There is an arcade that I want to get to if I can get the chance. That's got if I remember which one it is, it's got loads of really old retro games. Like I said, this isn't going to be the only vlog we do from here. I'll have to do another one and fit a lot more in. There used to be two of them. There used to be shell shops. Obviously it's grown out of fashion. But they used to have, like, I can remember having, it's quite cruel now when I think about it, but they used to have key-rings with like tiny little crabs in it. Well, they were obviously real ones that they'd caught and whatnot, but the actual shells themselves were really pretty. I think that's it. I think it's at AJ Ryan's. I think that is the old one. So where you can see Treasure Island there. In fact, we're going to go that way because we're going to go and get a pint from Weathers, which is also known as the Eric Bartholomew, before we go and see Mr. Eric himself. And we'll have a quick look in Snappyland. And I'm hoping that we come across Michael Jackson. Chowder. Morecambe, that's it. Morecambe is very popular and well known for its shrimps. Morecambe Bay potted shrimps. So I was randomly talking to some people I passed before. They actually turned out they used to holiday here as a child and were on about Tyson Fury and things, people and landmarks and stuff. And as we were on about Tyson Fury, they said, "Oh, I don't think I'd recognise him." And there's a lady who walked behind, she goes, "Oh, yes, you would. He's a pig man and shops locally in like Lidl and Sainsbury's and whatnot." Right, so we're going to get a pint and sit outside. We've got our pint. Bag of nuts. There's no Michael Jackson. I literally see him every time we're here. I don't have a clue where he is. But normally, this is where you'll find him. And we're right outside the Weathers. Right, I'm going to take a look in here. I'm sure it was this one.
Everyone gets the weekend off work. So got Tommy, Clark and Spencer locked in, hard at work, bouncing to the tunes. Ryan and Dave are laying floors in schools, getting ready for Saturday night.
I have got this one.
That is what we like.
It's not the arcade I thought of though.
Super really deranged with this next track. The energy in this tune is crazy.
No, it's not. I mean, they may have got rid of it. They used to have an Only Fools and Horses one. Now, Lewis's ice cream. Lewis's is like well known around here. It's well nice. You might have to stop in there. Right, I need to get across the road. Okay, we've got the famous Eric Morecambe. You go up and over and carry on with the front, or you see some of the seafront stores. So I'm going to try and do a bit of both. But this statue is still really popular. I mean, it was put in, I'm going to have to go back to there because that is actually longer ago than I thought. 1999, so it's been there a long time, but it's still a great big pulling point for the local, well, you know, for locals and for visitors. So we're going to make our way to the Midland, and if we have time, I'm going to stop for a posh coffee. But it's going to be a case of if we have time, because the whole point of me actually coming here today was paper plates for the barbecue, and I've just been into one shop and didn't get any paper plates. So that is the mission. And I need to come back with it, or we'll all be eating off our knees. Those who know of Chris Higgett's Pound Burgers in Blackpool, we have got AJ's Double Burgers in Morecambe. Now, I'm sure it used to be further down, I might be wrong. They won't be what the price they were when I was living here, but they were 80p back then for a double burger, and it was well advertised as being like basically the cheapest burger. We have got the winter gardens. We won't have time to go in there today. It's a shame. I'm like really pushed for time. I could have done with us staying here for a couple of nights. Well, to be honest, we could stay here a week and I'd be able to show you all sorts, because there's a lot going on. How much battery have I got left? Let's have a look. 35%, we're not too bad. Right, so like in Southport, we still have the train that runs across the front. Again, I think it's only, it's a seasonal thing, it's not throughout the year. But it's still a nice vintagey I've got a feeling that arcade's up here. There was one particular arcade that's been here for donkeys on end, and I don't think they've ever changed the machines out. So there's the winter gardens. We always used to have our birthday parties in Johnny's Fun Factory inside the Pleasureland. Got the Sunday market at the back of here. I mean, I could take you for ages, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to walk as far as the trains, well, so you can see the train station from the Midland, and then I'm going to have to head back because I desperately need plates and I haven't got them. So this is the area that will be turned into, or about this area that will be turned into the Eden project. Now this fairground is a travelling fairground. We used to have, I mean, I'm biased, we used to have an amazing fairground called Frontierland. Google it. It's a Western themed theme park, old wooden coasters. Oh, it was amazing. The same as a lot of places, they just took it down. It's such a shame. We used to get cast off rides from Blackpool, and in fact our Mad Mouse actually went to Blackpool when Frontierland closed, and unfortunately, was it last year, the year before, they've now got rid of it, and it used to be one of my favourite rides. But this is where Bubbles used to be. So prior Bubbles, again, I would probably have to go Google things because it's not necessarily my forte. Just make sure. Right, so I'm going to try that again. Right, it's okay. This was Bubbles. Prior to that, I think it had been the Lido, the outside pool. I know there definitely was one, but the location I'm not 100% sure of, but I think it was here. But when I was a kid, Bubbles is like Morecambe Sandcastle to any of those who've been to Blackpool. In the Sandcastle, slides, outdoor pool, what do you call it, rapids. It was absolutely brilliant, and yet again, needed some money spent on it. I will bin it. Absolute nightmare. Finally, they're actually investing back into Morecambe, which is what they should have been doing from the beginning. It really annoys me when they do this. I'm going to have a look across the road in a bit, see if that Cooper's Amusement is the amusement I'm thinking of that has the Owning Fools and Horses machine. I might be wrong, but we'll check it out. So next week, it's bank holiday weekend. By the time this goes out, it might be a bit late. I'm hoping actually I should be able to get it on by Monday. So if it is next weekend, if this goes out on the Monday, the bank holiday Monday, this will be Vintage by the Sea, this whole area. And that's definitely worth a visit. I mean, in honesty, we do try and keep stuff coming here. Years ago, we used to have WOMAD weekend, we used to have Punks and Rockers. There used to be a lot going on. But again, it was through the summer holidays, but it was something different. Didn't know about this today, though, in honesty. Right, so we'll come round the front in a minute and go full circle. This is the Midland Hotel. Stone Jetty, which used to be one of Morecambe's piers. Morecambe no longer has piers. It hasn't had them in a long time through fire and whatnot, and they never got replaced. Now, as good as Aldi's are, say what you want, I don't think they belong on a promenade. So the space you hopefully can see behind Aldi is what was Frontierland. And even going back, see, my timescales are out of whack, but probably going back 10 years ago, it still had the bars on the front, which were the saloon bars. That front was a frontage of Frontierland. They've gone as well now. It's a bit hard to see. I wasn't expecting this. I actually expected it to be quite quiet. So in the horizon here, so not so far off, we used to have like a tower, which was for the cable cars to go across from the front, from the side of the promenade over to Frontierland. We also had, and I can't see it here now, unless that's what I see. It might be that rusty pole in the distance I can see. I thought it was a lot closer to Frontierland. It was a polo tower. I'll try and pull up some footage when I'm doing a proper vlog where I can actually spend some actual time here properly. I'll try and pull up some old images. I'm going to have to go through all my old photographs and pull up some old images for things. As you can see, it's very, very busy at the minute. We've got the platform which was the old train station, which is now Sizzler or something like that. Right, just a random quick one. So I've been into Aldi thinking they might have some paper plates. They don't. But I have just realised that it used to be like a mini, I don't know, they used to have like a few stores in it. One of which, that is the old Frontierland, and if we have a chance we're going to have a quick look at the land. I actually had my tattoo done in there. No, it wasn't a tattoo. It was piercings. I had my belly button and my nose pierced in there, you know, to add a bit of class. But I hadn't realised actually that was where it was. So we're going to go in B&M's, which apparently is right next to Morrison's, and pick up some paper plates. Bless her, the lady at Aldi said, yeah, they've got them. They're about £1.50 for 20. That'll be the cheapest place. They haven't got any in Aldi. She's quite happy telling me where else to go. Brilliant. So the hunt for paper plates look like we may have got to a point. So here's B&M. We're going to pick them up from there and head back to the front. Hopefully, I don't think we're going to get time to go into the middle and for a coffee, but we'll definitely span? We'll use that word, but it probably isn't that. Span past the front of it. There's a homeless gentleman I've just passed. I'm going to pick him up a milkshake while we're here. That was his request. Had options of all sorts. I actually tell a lie, this looks very similar because Morrison's wasn't here when I went and got my nose pierced and belly button pierced. So I actually think it was down this section. It's quite confusing when you've got buildings that weren't there in previous, but it was definitely down like a little gunnel onto the way to here. So we are now armed with paper plates. Can't even get in there. Paper plates and milkshakes. Because obviously we're under time constraint. And I love a market. And the festival market, the indoor market as we call it, is actually a pretty good market. They have bits of all sorts. It's brilliant. And then should it have been a Sunday, they've got the outdoor market as well. So we could have killed two birds with one stone. Hate that phrase with me being vegan, obviously. But I've not managed yet to find one that fits the bill. Cinema looks like it could do with a bit of repainting. And the KFC on the corner used to be a Fatty Arbuckles back in the day. And actually the Aldi used to be Super Bowl. They have still got bowling in Morecambe. I think that's part of where I said Johnny's Fun Factory was. It's like next door to them. They've got like an upstairs bit with like a, I say restaurant, like a diner type thing, without sounding snobby, a diner and restaurant. I'm quite happy with Burger King, so you know I've got nothing to say about that. In fact, Pound Bakeries or a Greg's, if I wasn't having this barbecue, would probably be where I was heading, or Subway. So, oh, of course, my chips on the beach. Scrap all that. That's exactly what I do. Chips on the beach and an ice cream. But as it is, we've got a full flow barbecue, and my dad does a bloody good barbecue, so I will not go hungry. So okay, plates are bought. The station is actually grinking, not sizzling. It was a sizzling at one point. This is the Midland. Oh, I need to show you inside. I haven't got time today, so we're definitely going to do this again. I mean, I would love to stay there. It is an iconic hotel and it is full of Art Deco. It is absolutely beautiful inside. A coffee would have done. I went for a pint, still thought I'd have time, and I've really badly timed things, so I'm now making my way back back to the start, back to my mum's. And hopefully I shall drop the plates off before it's time to serve. Fingers crossed. Oh, I need to go in this arcade. This old Art Deco impressive building, it used to be a shop called Hitchens, which my brothers worked in fact my aunt and uncle worked in, and it was like an ex-catalogue shop. Unfortunately, a lot of the stores on the front now, I mean, look at that. God, they need to do something with that. Really run down, and it's actually cheaper for them to put these storage unit ones outside than it is to actually churros. I'm going to get some of them, providing they'll take my card. Then actually work inside. Right, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work out. I am in a rush, believe it or not. But I stopped past a churro stop. Churros with Biscoff. Oh my God, a vegan dream. In fact, anyone's dream. And a coffee. So that should sober me up enough. I'm saying sober me up. I've had a pint and I've walked a lot, so we'll get away with it. Oh, the Winter Gardens had a cafe. Didn't know that. We need to do that next time. But yeah, so we're heading back now. So that'll be the last from Morecambe for today. Hope you've all had a lovely bank holiday weekend, and we shall see you next time. Right, so we might as well use the battery up. I've spilt coffee myself. Right, so we're making our way back to the van, because we've come in the van today. And there are so many doggos. I have not managed to fuss one. So I'm going to make that my end mission. Whether or not I'll have enough battery to film it is another thing. But I need to fuss a doggo. It isn't a trip out. Oh my God. There it is. Gonna zone in. Can I be a real pain? Can I fuss your doggo?
Oh, it's not my dog.
Oh, can I fuss your doggo? Sorry.
All right, go for it.
Hello.